As a tenant administrator, you can assign security roles to users and administrators in the tenant that grant them a set of permission. The Users section in the Management Console has two tabs. Tenant administrators can assign security roles from the All Users tab or from the Permissions tab. The All Users tab shows a list of users who have been added or invited to the tenant. You can select one or more users and assign roles to them. Security roles are divided into administrator roles and user roles. Administrator roles enable management of tenant-wide functions that affect governance, performance, and security. User roles enable actions on resources, such as editing apps or opening data files. By assigning roles to users, you can better organize your users and what they do in the tenant. In addition to the tenant-level security roles, there are space roles that control user actions on content within shared spaces, managed spaces, and data spaces. You can assign space roles when you add members to a space. Note that if assigning security roles to a basic user, they will be automatically promoted to a full user. On the Permissions tab, you can select a role to see all users assigned to this role. You can also assign security roles to users or groups. Search for the users by name or email and add them to the list. Then click Assign. This process is similar if you want to assign security roles to groups. Groups are defined through your identity provider and not created from the Management Console. When you assign a role to a group, every member of that group is granted the permission defined by the role. From the Auto Assign column, tenant administrators can assign security roles to all users in the tenant. For new tenants, the following roles are automatically assigned to all users by default: Data Services Contributor, Private Analytics Content Creator, Shared Space Creator, Steward. A role assigned to a user this way is removed from the user if you set the value in the column to Off. Users with the Tenant Admin role are full tenant administrators and have very few limitations in what they can do in the tenant, with the exception of creating API keys, which requires a developer role. A tenant administrator manages all aspects of the tenant, which includes assigning user roles to other users. A tenant admin can also assign and delete their own user roles, except for their own tenant admin role. Tenant administrators are the only administrators who can make edits in other users' personal space. Users with the Analytics admin role are administrators with limited permissions. Analytics administrators do not have access to other users' private content. They can manage only some areas of governance and content in the Management Console and have access only to the areas for which they have permissions. Analytics administrators cannot manage users in the Users section of the Management Console, but they can manage space members in the space types that they're allowed to manage. Users with the Data Admin role are administrators with limited permissions for data spaces and data resources within those spaces. Data administrators do not have access to other users' private content. And that concludes this video. Thanks for watching.